Hi, this is just a brief tutorial on simplifying complex rational expressions. There are two methods, and so I'm going to show you each method. Method 1 says simplify the numerator and denominator separately and then divide. Okay, so if we're going to do that, we have to first recognize that this numerator and the denominator are just made up of expressions or fractions that are being added and subtracted to each other. Okay, so if I'm going to simplify just the numerator, I'm going to have to get a common denominator. And I recognize that the common denominator is 12, so I have to multiply this by 2 and the top by 2. So I would have 7/12 minus 2/12 for my numerator, which would give me in the numerator 7 minus 2, 5/12. In the denominator, I'm going to recognize that this is 2 over 1. And my common denominator between 1 and 9 is 9, so I have to multiply this by 9, so I'd have to multiply the top by 9. So I would have 18/9 plus 4/9, and if I add 18 plus 4, that would be 22/9. So I have my numerator and my denominator, as it said, simplified. Now it says divide. Well, if I'm dividing fractions, we know from our previous lessons that if you divide fractions, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I flip that bottom fraction, and again, as you're multiplying, if you can see anything that cancels, you may want to cancel. So for example, 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 goes into 12 4 times. And I don't think there's anything else that simplifies. So if I multiply straight across, 5 times 3 is 15. And 4 times 22 is 88, and this would be my final answer to this complex rational expression. Okay, I'm going to do the same problem again, but I'm going to use a second method. The second method says multiply the numerator and the denominator by the lowest common denominator of all fractions that appear, and then you'll simplify. So if I look at all of the denominators, I have a 12, I have 6, I have 1, and I have 9. So I have to look for the lowest common denominator, and as we do that, it helps to think of their multiples. So for example, 24 is the next multiple, and then I'd have 36. In this, I would go to 12, and then I would go to 18, and then 24, 30, 36. Well, 1 could be anything. 9 would be 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. So I notice that 36 is my lowest common denominator. Sometimes we refer to it as LCD. Instead of greatest common factor, now it's lowest common denominator. And so what they're saying is if I multiply everything by 36, let's try that. So if I multiply by 36, again, I'm going to multiply on the top, multiply on the bottom. So if I do 36 over 1 times 7 over 12, well, that would reduce because I know this would be 3 and 1. So this first part would reduce to a 21. And write that up here, 21. If I do 36 over 1 times 1/6, these both would cancel. That would be a 6 and a 1. And so I would have minus, again, that would just be a 6. If I multiply 2 times 36, that would be a 72. And if I multiply 36 over 1 times 4 over 9, the 36 would cancel to 4, the 9 would cancel to 1, and I would have 16. So again, I kind of wrote this in a really unorganized fashion, but I now have 21 minus 6 over 72 plus 16. If I simplify that, 21 minus 6 is 15, and 72 plus 16 is 88, which is the same answer, 15/88, the same answer I got when I did method number 1. Both methods are acceptable. And you'll see it used frequently during class. Thanks.